When I won the election sometimes in April 2015, one of the tasks that I had was to see how I could improve on the ease of doing business in Lagos State. Wow. And in doing that, I also believed that I needed to do some kind of public sector reforms to be able to drive the vision which we had actually set up for ourselves. Okay. And in doing public sector reforms, you also needed to have set up some kind of structure or institutional framework that would drive that vision. And the vision is very simple. We want a safer, a cleaner, and a more prosperous Lagos.
Our role largely is to intervene in achieving the overall goal of this administration as far as investment is concerned, and that is to ease how we do business in Lagos State. In terms of specifics on how do we intend to achieve this, because intervention is a generic term. Number one is to first and foremost understand what the issues have been in the past with investing in Lagos State. Investing in Lagos State, again, is a microscoping of investing in Nigeria as a whole.
This is Bukola Idem, and this is the Maiden edition of Lagos Global on TV. I'm with...
My name is Obafola Bankolemo, Special Advisor to the Governor on Education.
Okay, on education, Lagos Global Emerging Opportunities has going to affect education.
No, it's critical. We understand that with the number, Lagos State is 65% youthful. In education in ministry, we've done our audit and we know we need more schools. So the education sector is ripe for investment. We want private sector partnership in growing our education sector. So for us, what Lagos Global is doing is very critical to do to us in the Ministry of Education.
Honestly, is a very good one. It's a welcome program. We have been expecting that because it will give people to know what the Lagos State is all about investors. And it's part of my ministry too, because a lot of people are just there outside. They don't know what the agriculture is all about, and he's one bringing in the investor for us, for them to come and know what we are doing. So it's a welcome program, and we really appreciate that.
I think it's a great event today. What we are selling basically is selling Lagos to the global community. It's a good development. But more importantly, it's important for people to know what Lagos is about and what is, strategic about our economy. We have the human capital, we have the GDP, now we have natural resources. We are oil producing. I used to pretend that we've made our first export of crude oil. I can also tell the audience that in Lagos, about 2 or 3 oil fields are currently being explored. The only one that has produced oil is the Yinka Folawiyo Ajay field. We have 3 others that are ongoing: Crown Well, Lake Oil, and the other one, Ogo field. So for us, we see a bigger economy going forward.
Keep watching Lagos Global on TV.
Keep watching Lagos Global on TV.
Keep watching Lagos Global on TV.
Keep watching Lagos Global on television.
A new privately funded coastal city is being built on land reclaimed from the Atlantic Ocean.
Eco-Atlantic, it came out of a real need to protect Victoria Island. Over the past 110 years, we've had serious erosion which threatened the existing Victoria Island, the commercial centre of Lagos, back in 2005. So what we are doing, we're reclaiming all the land that was lost, and we are building a very robust seawall in front of that, and the total footprint of the new city will be 10 square kilometres.
A core Atlantic marina is expected to become a regional tourism and entertainment attraction, with al fresco bars, world-class restaurants, and enticing boutiques.
There's plenty of scope for tourism in the marina. But immediately around the marina, there will be a very wide, very generous pedestrian walkway and access to retail outlets, bars, restaurants. So the marina, particularly in the evenings, will become a very, very lively place and attract a lot of tourists.
Over the last couple of years, Lagosians have witnessed a major influx of shopping malls in the city. The retail sector is on the rise, and Eko Atlantic will house West Africa's largest shopping mall, sure to be a major tourist attraction.
That shopping mall is 120,000 square meters of lettable area. And within that, we're going to attract a lot of international brands for anchor zones within the shopping mall. And those discussions are at a very advanced stage, and we expect construction of the shopping mall to start next year.
To achieve its full tourism potential, Lagos State requires investment in the hospitality sector. In spite of the macroeconomic challenges, investors remain confident about the hospitality industry in Africa. And according to research, Nigeria is the country with the most rooms in the pipeline. Local and international hospitality brands are springing up across the city of Lagos, seeking significant returns.
We're just scratching the beginning of the industry. There are a lot of opportunities. What I will say is, if anybody is interested, this is the right time. First of all, the government is a pro-hospitality, pro-tourism government, and they are providing a lot of incentives and support. And if there's any time to continue to commence or to consider investing, this is the right time.
Welcome back. This is Lagos Global on TV. Your Excellency, sir, what investment incentives are available to investors under your administration?
Yes, the first one is to say that we come with a huge sense of credibility.
Right.
We are extremely transparent about the transactions we do.
That's great.
We are only looking for value. You don't need to know anybody as an investor in Lagos. Once you bring value to the table, we are willing to do business with any investor.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
But you know, beyond that, just like what Professor Abass has just said, we believe strongly that we do not necessarily have to do a public-private partnership with investors that come into Lagos. Our business is to create an enabling environment for business to thrive. We are not businessmen, we are enablers. We just create the space, and where we see that there is value that can create so much impact on our people, we're willing to sacrifice. So we do sometimes waive land charges or waive fees because we know that in the medium term and the long run, it's going to improve on the GDP and create jobs for our people. So we're not out there to choke investors and say you must go and bring this, bring that. We're looking at the future, and that's why I say that's in line with our vision. It's to make Lagos more prosperous. So where we have incentives, you know, allowing people not even tax waivers, we can as well say you should not pay for as much as we want, depending on how impactful or how valuable those investments are. Because there are 1,001 people who are businessmen that do not come to government to do their business. So when you come to the government should be able to create a better enabling environment for investors. So those are the things that are lined up. But the truth is this, it's more about value proposition, and it's more about what it does to our people, and it's more about the tripod. Are you creating jobs? Are we going to use the revenue to create more infrastructure? And at the end of the day, do you bring true happiness to Lagosians? Then we're willing to partner with anybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Now, my question for the special advisor, what sectors have generated the most interesting investments and why?
Well, thanks. That's a very interesting question because every single sector in Lagos State generates a huge amount of interest. But to boil it down, first and foremost, when you look at the transport sector,
Okay.
Which comes within the general infrastructure. Lagos today is about 22 million people and still rising. It's about 1/5 water composed. And we have not actually maximized our water transportation to the extent that we should be doing that as a mega city. And in the next few years, we are going to be a megalopolis. We were officially designated a mega city a couple of years ago when we went beyond 17 million people. And very soon we are going to cross the threshold of 25 million and we become a megalopolis. Now, what is interesting in that is that you cannot seek to transport people, Lagosians, from point A to point B, relying only on surface land transportation, when 1/5 of this state is composed by water. So that has generated a phenomenal amount of interest from investors, both from within the country and from outside the country. Another segment is health. Nigerians spend billions of dollars every single year to go and do what you call, health or medical tourism, whether in Dubai, in India, or even as close by as in South Africa.
Yes.
But we have in this state some of the best doctors you can have in the world, to be honest with you.
Right.
We have, if you go to the US today, if you go to UK today, those who drive most of those, medical departments are actually Nigerians. So then the truth is, why don't we focus on creating a world-class medical facility in Lagos State here? So that, again, has generated a lot of interest, from the people. Another aspect is agriculture. It's sad. Anytime I hear, whether on television or any other media outlet, when they are saying, oh, we are going to diversify. We should not be talking about diversification in Nigeria here today, because we began with agriculture. In the 60s, Nigeria only ranked with Ghana in terms of agricultural produces in this continent. In 1957, Malaysia came to Ghana to buy palm kernel to begin to develop palm oil. At a point in time where Ghana was the biggest palm oil producer in the continent, today, Malaysia is the biggest palm oil producer in the world. So it's about understanding where your weaknesses are. And I think we've pushed that one out and investors understand that. So from agriculture to health to transportation, and most importantly, energy sector. Today in Nigeria, only, I think, we are 8th largest oil producing country in the world. Look at bitumen. Nigeria has the 2nd largest deposit of bitumen anywhere in the world. Look at gas. Only Ukraine has more natural gas reservoir than Nigeria today. But this is a country that can still not give ourselves enough energy that we need. Again, and that is very hampering to investment, because it means it drives the cost of production excessively higher, and they won't be competitive. And I think, we have a fantastic energy department that is doing a lot to make sure that this kind of interest are coming.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you will all agree with me when I said he's well suited for this responsibility. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you very much. I will go on a break and we'll be right back. Thank you. This is Lagos Global on TV. If you're just tuning in, just sit back, relax. We're discussing investment opportunities in Lagos State. Now I have a question again for His Excellency. Now, your administration has prioritized putting in place key reforms. There are reforms in civil service, land, tax, and also development of free trade zones and the judiciary. So how have these reforms impacted the drive for local and foreign investors?
Firstly, the simplest impact of our reforms can be found in the level of productivity that is being churned out by Lagosians now through the ease of traffic management that we have just put in place. Where we used to transact business from point A to point B for 2 hours in traffic, right now that has technically been eliminated. So maybe you do 30 minutes. That savings of 1.5 hours has made Lagosians to become more productive cumulatively. And in that sense, it's going to grow our GDP. That's the way to look at it. And then beyond all that we're doing, you see that our civil service also has become extremely responsive to the needs of the people. And service delivery has technically improved over the last 18 months. Another area that you can quickly, point to is what we've done in our judicial and security sector reforms. They look so intangible, but the truth is this: we've been having the rule of law properly upheld in this state in the last 15 months. So when you put all that together, that is the main trust of where you can now say confidently investors can have an enabling environment to do their business. And you can see it, they are coming in droves. And it's not officially documented, but we know that the FDIs that we have put into Lagos in the last 18 months is greater than what has been done in the last 10 years.
Wow, that's great. That's amazing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Well done. Thank you very much. And I can say that in Lagos State, financial investments pays off. Now, my question for the special advisor. Now, considering the sector that are receiving investments already in Lagos State, what type of opportunities are available to Lagosians, and how can they access these opportunities, sir?
Well, thank you very much. Number one, every sector that anybody wants to invest in is open to Lagosians and to Nigerians at large. So we don't have any sectors fended off for foreigners or for, it's a level playing ground. And as I've always said, you don't have to have $1 billion to come and invest in Lagos State. You may have just 10 kobo to come and invest in Lagos State. It's about the value you are bringing to the economy. As His Excellency just said a few minutes ago, it's about increasing our GDP. And when we do that, we produce more jobs for our people, which is why we are in business anyway. Why are we in government if not to be able to create jobs, for the people? In terms of connecting with us, it's pretty easy. We have a very functional website, which we, and my number and my officer's numbers are also there. And I'm sure today we are going to hand out some brochure which contains also all our detailed information. And I'm also hoping that a lot of Lagosians will tune in into these programs when they are going to air on the channels that they are going to be airing on, to be able to see how they contact us.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, sir.
Excellency, I'd like to congratulate you for an excellent job. We actually didn't expect anything less from an action governor.
Sure.
Now, my question has to do with access of the citizenry in Lagos. If we have 23 million people, the question is, what's your plan for these citizens of Nigeria who are Lagosians to access government services, given the age of technology, particularly with respect to the fact that businesses today or economies today are driven by small, medium enterprises. We keep talking about mega, investments, but there are Lagosians who want to access government services so they can contribute their quota to the development of the state. What's your plan to use technology to provide access to governance? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that question. If there's anybody that is tech-driven, I'm sure it's the person that is speaking here. Well, if I had my way, I would obviously want every service in Lagos State to be done through that same platform that they have actually mentioned. But the truth is this: yes, we want that to happen, but we need the infrastructure to allow it to happen. It's not enough for me to have the application, but again, I need the hardware and the infrastructure to drive it. How much of the taxes that I'm getting from the citizens can I use to now devote to technology, so to speak? So we are limited by the resources that we have. It is not politically correct right now in a recession to say that we want to increase taxes. We're not going to do it. But again, we can get more efficient in the collection machinery that we're using by also applying technology to improve on our collection machinery so that we get more taxes to be able to serve people. But like you've just said, the ability to be able to permeate the SMEs, the artisans and individuals is our major drive. And that's why we've decided we're going to have an employment trust fund that is 25 billion. We're committing 6.25 billion every year for the next 4 years.
Yes.
That money is not for the big investors. The money is to be able to tap into the SMEs and tap into the creative talents of the younger ones and be able to just allow them to rise above what it is that we think is poverty. And then in doing that, we'll continue to also say that we're going to use our identity card project to allow people to be identified, and then more importantly, to use it for data planning, economic planning, and financial planning, so that each person can use that same technology that we are trying to do to have access to the services that we are providing. It's Herculean. So obviously sometimes you want to do it in a PPP way. We've already awarded a contract here, and then we're doing it with Thomson Reuters, in which we are going to do a GIS and then be able to identify all the properties in Lagos State and be able to identify every individual. And I can tell you, we need a census of those who are living in Lagos. We need to know who are our residents. We need to know who are the people who are coming in and going out. Without doing that as the backbone, you cannot actually allow a whole lot of people to have access to the services. So it's something complex, but it is doable. And then, you know, we start from the foundation to be able to say we create the infrastructure, and then we now go to the level of data planning and then financial planning without creating so much stress for our people to say we want to increase their taxes or we want to increase the fees they're paying. And like I've always said, there's nothing called government money. Every kobo that we get as taxes from the citizens, it's what we're using to do the infrastructure back. So it's not our money. What we have just done is to say that we should represent you to be able to use that to create all those services and the assets you have talked about. So I just believe strongly that the more efficient we get in collecting from everybody, and then the more willingness from our people to be able to pay their taxes without us running after them, the better for all of us, and then we'll be able to deal with the assets.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud to say that His Excellency's vision is not just the money, it's not about the investments, it's more about the people. Thank you so much for your interest in Lagosians. Thank you for being here, thank you for spending time, quality time. We've learned a lot from His Excellency, and thank you for this amazing platform. I'm sure it goes beyond just the investment, it's more about the people. Thank you so much. Now, before we take His Excellency's final word, let's go on a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Lagos Global on TV. We've been discussing investment opportunities in Lagos State. And now it's time to have His Excellency's final word.
I must say a big thank you to Tokwa. You've exposed the kind of opportunities that we would like our investors to know about and then have. I also want to urge all our investors, all our businessmen and women to say that Lagos is on the rise. The future of Nigeria really is actually in the commercial capital of Nigeria, and that's where Lagos is. We are strongly committed to ensure that the future prosperity of Lagos is fundamentally, enshrined in all the things that we're doing. Like I said at the beginning, it's more about value proposition. Anybody, you don't need to know anybody in Lagos State right now, in Lagos State government right now. Once you bring the value, we'll partner with you, we'll support you, and then create that enabling environment for your business to thrive. So we expect more investors to come into Lagos, and we expect that they will do profitable business and then create jobs for our people, and then improve on our infrastructure as we use the taxes judiciously. I want to say thumbs up for Lagos Global TV, and I urge everyone to keep watching Lagos Global TV. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Excellency. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Professor, let's have your final word.
Well, thank you very much. Just to say a big thank you to you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir.
And to thank you and your team for this wonderful job.
Thank you so
And
much.
then to encourage all investors, whether from within Nigeria or from outside, to keep investing in Lagos State. And as the governor himself has said, we want to encourage them to watch Lagos Global on the air to make the best of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, sir. It's been a wonderful time on Lagos Global on TV. Tune in same time, same station next week. Until then, I remain your host, Temitope Oluseyi Oshin. Bye for now.